So the Secret Empire might be over, but the conclusion is here in Secret Empire Omega, issue number 1. So Secret Empire, as it ended, we saw the real Captain America knock out the Nazi Steve Rogers imposter. This issue is going to deal with all the fallout of that and the two different Steve Rogers talking to each other. Now there's a lot of great dialogue here, as has actually been present throughout the entire series. And what I really like is the great focus that they put on the dialogue between Steve Rogers, the real one, and the Nazi Steve Rogers, and him specifically saying that, hey look, I actually did nothing wrong. Think about what I did. You guys enabled this giant shield to fall over place. I just executed the order. I wasn't necessarily the one calling all the shots because everything just kind of fell into place. And as the two keep actually discussing the morals, the intricacies and everything that happened, a lot of other big stuff is brought into question, such as the death of Natasha Romanoff, the fallout of what a bunch of these characters did, and some of the stuff they did was very despicable. And Nazi Steve Rogers even talks about how his perfect world was different, where Hydra assembles the Avengers, where Hydra is responsible for the astronauts that get their powers, of course the Fantastic Four, the genocide of all mutants that's actually executed on. There's a lot of stuff in that world that they wanted that never comes to fruition, obviously and thankfully. And we even get to catch up with the X-Men for a minute, which is of course Emma Frost and Beast, and they're talking about how they've always lived under such oppression just because they're mutants and how people look down on them, which I thought was a great mirror to what's happening in the rest of this comic. Now along with that, as the two keep talking, we see Punisher, and he trusts Captain America. He idolizes Captain America and he feels bad about what he had to do, so he's taken it on himself to go out there and start killing Hydra agents. Rightfully so. I think he's in the right place to do it. And as the comic is ending, we see the real Captain America say after he defeated the Nazi one, he reached his hand out to a child buried in rubble, and the child was afraid to take his hand because of the fear they now have for Steve Rogers, which I honestly think is awesome. It kind of sets up what's happening in Marvel Legacy going forward. And the two just kind of keep talking about the ideologies and everything, and Cap just says to the Nazi one, listen, you're going to be locked in here for a while, and if you ever break out, I'll know exactly who you are and what you're after. And honestly, this was a pretty great comic. They touch upon the fact that the world they're living in is an alternate that was created and all that, and I honestly like it. This was an overall great issue with a lot of great implications that I would give it a very solid 9 out of 10.